Hi everyone, welcome to Module 5 of the Living Well with Cancer-Related Fatigue video series. In this video, you're going to hear about how Ed and Sandi have changed their diet and learn new ways to prepare meals to help manage their fatigue. You're also going to hear from V, who is a registered dietitian working with the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency. He's going to share with you some tips and tools about how to eat a balanced diet and use food to counteract cancer-related fatigue.
I first started thinking about my diet and my eating was when my oncology doctor told me that my lungs would feel a lot happier if they didn't have to carry that extra weight. And I needed to lose weight. But to eat properly is quite a challenge. I would like to have 4 hamburgers and maybe 1 was enough. And I like pop, maybe none was better. I couldn't change my lungs, but I could change my weight, so that became a challenge to me, a very hard one. When I first started tracking my calories, just what I would normally eat, I think it was 4,800 calories a day, and that was not even a heavy day, so I knew it was not good. So then I started tracking my food and writing it down, and my aim was to get to 2,000 calories. And I kind of got there. Now I want to get a little lower than that. 2 of the big things in my nutrition course that I learned was that I needed to slow down, cut down on the portion, and also on the sugar, the pop. And I'm really working hard on that, but it's hard to be successful when you don't eat right.
I never had the time to do this, to go shop every other day if I had the energy and to prepare, healthy things for myself all the time. So again, it's one of those changes. It's been a really good life change. I don't eat big portions, but I don't really think I ever have. I just eat a lot through the day. I carry my apples and my almonds or, whatever with me so I don't have to do the convenience. And so yeah, I eat so much healthier. I don't want to have an easy go-to, and so a lot of times when I'm feeling good, that's when I cook a lot of stuff. And I can't say I've been disciplined to do batch food cooking or anything, but I'll chop up a lot of my things, my onions and different things I want to use all the time that I use. So it's not so overwhelming again in the fatigue thing. Even through fatigue, I can actually go do a meal because I'm just pulling out and assembling rather than following the recipe and chop that. And prep thing is just the most time. And I can't get my head around that when I'm fatigued at all. So yeah, I want to make sure I'm eating all the time. My pots, everything's kind of in close proximity, and keeping the kitchen clean, because that really, for you too when you're fatigued, because you think you can't go and prepare food because the kitchen's not clean. So yeah, I prioritize mostly around food and things like that, to be honest. That's a big deal for me. I want to eat well. I don't want to just go to for, My mom made tons of soups and froze them for me. And that is the easiest thing to go and do that again because it's ready to go, it's prepped. So when people are offering to bring food, yeah, say yes all the time. Just letting yourself off the hook and just whatever you can manage. If you open a can of tuna, I've had days like that, just opened it and ate right out of the can because, it gives you the little bit of the energy. A handful of raisins, whatever. After the diagnosis, I always look at the sugar content. Sodium and sugar is what I'm looking for. I thought I ate relatively healthy, but now it's a really good focus for me. It's probably the most important thing.
My name is V. Suryavong. I work at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency as a registered dietitian. If you have good nutrition, you'll have better fuel for your body and you'll, as a result, be less fatigued. So a good thing is to plan ahead. You can plan your meals, a week in advance, make up a grocery list and go shopping. When you have that energy, that's the time you're going to do it. If things get too, overwhelming, having a friend or a family member help you, with grocery shopping or even just cooking. So when I talk to my patients about eating a balanced diet, I'll often tell them to start off with Canada's Food Guide. Some of the ideas that come from the food guide are for every meal to try and have, 3 food groups present at that meal. And for snacks, try to have 2 food groups. An example of that could be, a sandwich, which would have, 2 servings of grain products, a protein source, which is usually like turkey, or it can be a peanut butter sandwich, and you could add a piece of fruit with that. So that would hit all 3 food groups. For snacks, you could have some fruit and some cheese, or some yogurt and some granola. So I often tell my patients that eating smaller meals and snacks throughout the day may be more feasible if they're more fatigued. What that'll also help you do is, maintain a regular blood sugar level. It's important to drink enough fluids throughout the day, and the recommendation is about 8 cups of fluid, or 2 liters a day. Fluids don't necessarily have to come from just water. They can come from milk, soup, smoothies, and all these other sources. For the most part, the patients that I see typically are lacking vegetables and fruit, and those are the 2 food groups I'd probably stress a lot more. Total caloric intake is definitely very individual, but a range could be anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 calories is typically the range for most people. Everybody thinks that, a regular size steak is 8 ounces, right? But actually, a size of a steak on Canada's food guide is 2.5 ounces, and that's the size of a deck of cards, or the size of the palm of your hand and the thickness of your little finger. So it's fairly small, and you only need 2 to 3 servings a day. In terms of supplements, I always tell my patients that if they're eating a balanced diet and their weight is being maintained, then there's typically no need for nutrition supplements. The meal replacements are good for days that you are fatigued and you don't feel like cooking, because it's basically a meal in a bottle, and you can just pop it open and drink it. There's no dishes, so there's less energy expended there too. If there was one thing that I'd like to tell patients that are going through cancer-related fatigue, it's to keep it simple. Make sure that you are eating a balanced diet, feeding yourself regularly, and of course, getting enough fluids is definitely really important.
Both Ed and Sandi talked about how eating well can be difficult. Planning ahead, keeping track of portion sizes, eating a balanced diet, and drinking enough fluids are all great things to do, but there is so much variation between individuals. Some people on treatments may not be able to get enough calories to keep their weight up, while others have problems with gaining too much weight. It's also important to be aware of malnutrition, which can really impact your fatigue. All that to say, if you're unsure of what you should be eating, or are worried that you're not getting the nutrients you need, make sure to ask your healthcare team for a referral to a registered dietitian in your area. They will be able to give you more specific advice on how to eat in order to best manage your fatigue. Well, that's the end of Module 5. When you're ready, go ahead and watch the conclusion video to get a few final tips and wrap up Ed and Sandi's story. I'll see you soon.